Okay, we're going to be ranking 2025 quarterbacks. There are 56 players on this list, so let's jump into it. Starting with that top tier, this is your Mount Rushmore, the best of the best. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I think a lot of people could argue, and honestly, I debated on putting Mahomes in his own category, but he's coming off his worst statistical year. I mean, literally Josh Allen, Lamar, and Joe Burrow had MVP caliber seasons, so we're keeping Mahomes in this category with them. Next, we move into our great category. I've got Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Baker Mayfield. I think most people would agree that Goff and Herbert should be there. Jalen Hurts, now look, I wasn't the biggest Hurts fan, but over time, I really have started to see why he is so good. And I know that the knock on him is going to be, well, you know, they won the Super Bowl, but it was the most talented team around him. He is the epitome of what a dual threat quarterback looks like. And I think we've seen how good he can be in the pocket when he needs to make those deep balls, but he's also going to take off running, and he's gritty. I like Jalen Hurts, and I think after this season, I'm putting him in the great category. And I'm sure there's a lot of people questioning why I'm putting Baker Mayfield as a top 8 quarterback in the NFL. I think he is. I think, unfortunately for Baker, the situation hasn't been good for him. He jumped around from a lot of really bad teams, but now he's the franchise guy for the Bucs. He had Liam Cohen really bring out the best in him. He's the guy that, he's one of the top deep ball throwers in the NFL. He has the weapons. I love Baker, and I will die on the hill that right now Baker is a top 8 quarterback. Now we jump into this good category. I've got Trevor Lawrence in the good category. I've got Geno Smith in the good category. I've got Dak Prescott, and I've got Jaden Daniels. All right, let's talk Geno, because I know the Seahawks got rid of him. I feel like a lot of people I talk to think Geno's just a good backup. He's not. He's a good quarterback. And just because Seattle didn't want to pay him to be a great quarterback, $40 million worth, it doesn't mean that he's not a guy that can win now. He's a great pocket passer. I think he makes pretty good decisions. And you know who also thinks so? Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, who's coming into the Raiders wanting to win now, that's what Geno does. No, he's not your long-term answer. He's your win now guy. I think he's good. Jaden Daniels, I'm sure there's going to be people saying, why don't you put him in the great category? He was great last year. There's no arguing that. One of the best rookie performances from a quarterback we've seen. However, in order to be great, you have to be consistent, and you can't be consistent when you've only played one season. Okay, I'm going to explain these next two categories. We've got the 2023 CJ Stroud category and the 2024 CJ Stroud category. This is because CJ Stroud was my guy. I hyped him up. I loved everything I saw in year one from him, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just the beginning. Wait till 2024. Well, if you watch the season at all, and if you watch the Texans, CJ Stroud looked fantastic his rookie year, and then not so great last season. Not great at all, actually. So these are the 2023 CJ Stroud guys. These are the ones that had a really good year last year, but I'm just saying, we don't know. We haven't seen them, for a second year, but I've loved everything I've seen so far. So this is Bo Nix, Drake May, Bryce Young. All three of them had a really good season, and I think Bryce Young we should highlight for someone who came off a really bad rookie year, found a little bit of momentum, had to get benched, had to get Andy Dalton in the mix before he got back out there, and I think all three of these have a lot to build off of and looked really good last year. How about the 2024 CJ Stroud guys? The guys that had a little bit of promise maybe the year prior, showed me something, but there's enough now that makes me go, wait, what are we missing? What should we be concerned about? So we've got Jordan Love here. And I hate throwing Jordan Love on this category because I love him, but honestly, there were a lot of issues last season. I know he was hurt, but he made a lot of bad decisions. He threw a lot of interceptions. He was taking sacks. He didn't look like the guy we saw year one. And I think that there's a good chance Matt LaFleur and him bounce back next year. Maybe they find a true wide receiver one, but there are enough issues that make me put Jordan Love in just a little bit of a question mark phase. Sam Darnold, Obviously, a great start to the year, a great middle of the year with the Vikings, and then we watched it all crumble. So not much more to be said from him. Brock Purdy, I think this is a big year for him. Can he show us that he's more than just that game manager? You've got Tua, injuries, couple issues, but has promise. CJ Stroud, I really think he's got to bounce back this season. And Kyler Murray, I don't think the Cardinals use Kyler the best way, honestly. But, we know the athleticism he has, the dual threat ability, but obviously it hasn't worked out great for Kyler this whole time. Okay, next up we've got these are the guys that could make us look stupid. These are the ones that I want to put above where they are. Like, I want to put them in a CJ Stroud category. Some of them I want to put in a good category, but I'm not going to get burnt. I'm not going to get burnt by these guys. It's Caleb Williams, it's Michael Penix, and it's Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I think he's better than Shedeur Sanders. Michael Penix, Falcons looked kind of good with Penix in there at the end of the season. And Caleb Williams, the most hype we've seen in a rookie quarterback in, honestly, a decade, maybe longer, but didn't show a lot of promise. Do we think that maybe getting a better offensive line in there, getting Ben Johnson as his coach, is that going to be enough to put Caleb Williams in a category above this? Could make us look stupid, because don't forget, go look at Caleb Williams' highlights last year. They weren't great. They weren't. So time will tell if this was an offensive line coaching issue or if it's really a Caleb Williams issue. Next up, I've got this hot or not list. Okay, these are the guys that I feel like either it's their make or break season, or it's like we've seen some sort of flash. There's a lot of expectation for this guy. They could be a bust. These are kind of the in the middle guys. I've got Derek Carr here. I've got Kirk Cousins, obviously Kirk on the end of his career. You've got Matthew Stafford, who's going to be interesting. The Rams, all the drama, he ends up staying in LA. Anthony Richardson, this is a make or break year for Anthony Richardson. Does Daniel Jones beat him out in the quarterback competition? You've got Joe Milton, who now there's getting trade rumors saying maybe the Browns end up trading for him. Patriots have him. I don't know. We haven't gotten to see him really play much yet. JJ McCarthy, I'm so excited to watch JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy is the most exciting quarterback to watch this year, because the Vikings are taking a bit of a risk. They're saying, we got rid of Sam Darnold. We are putting our trust in a guy that we haven't seen play because he got hurt. If JJ McCarthy hits, the Vikings are going to look like geniuses. If he doesn't, they're going to be calling Seattle and say, hey, can we get Sam back? And then I've got Shedeur Sanders, obviously a top quarterback prospect in this year's class. I've got some concerns with him. I know he's athletic. I know he comes from Deion Sanders, but when there's talks about you before you even get drafted of off the field drama, high maintenance stuff, I don't think that's enough to say you're not talented by any means. But again, it's this high expectation, a lot to live up to. You're still here, Aaron Rodgers. My gosh, we're filming this, and Aaron Rodgers still doesn't have a team. Like, free agency is almost wrapped up, and yet we still don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going to be. And I know, if you're looking at this tier list, I've got Aaron Rodgers behind Shedeur Sanders. I've got Aaron Rodgers behind Derek Carr. I've got Aaron Rodgers behind Michael Penix, Caleb Williams. But it's because everything that comes along with Aaron Rodgers, it's the off the field issues, which Aaron Rodgers probably has the most of out of all these 56 quarterbacks. But it's also, even if you take that away, look at last season. The Jets didn't just move on from him because of his off the field drama issues. It's the on the field stuff too. He wasn't consistent. He definitely looked like he was aging, and he's not that same guy, Hall of Fame MVP caliber player that we saw 4 or 5 years ago. All right, now let's talk backups. These are the good backups, the second string guys that if your quarterback goes out, it's not the end of the world. It's not good. Brissett, Dalton, Dart, Jimmy G, Daniel Jones. But what if he ends up beating out Anthony Richardson? That's going to be funny. Levis, I'll throw Drew Lock on there, Marcus Mariota, Aiden O'Connell, Pickett, Rattler, Rush, Malik Willis, Jameis Winston, and yes, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Let's talk Justin Fields for a second, because look, he's getting a chance and an opportunity with the Jets. This is Justin Fields' last chance as a starter. He has had plenty of opportunities, and right now, right here, I can't say why I can't say anything that makes me think he should be a first-string guy in the league. Chicago, he had a lot of chances there. Then he goes to Pittsburgh. He's the starter for 6 games. Steelers go 4-2, but they go 4-2 because of their defense. So Mike Tomlin benches him for Russell Wilson. And for Russell Wilson, unfortunately for him, he's just same as Rodgers. He's getting older. And the thing that Russ did so well in his prime was his ability to move all around the pocket, his ability to scramble, obviously take off and run, that dual threat guy. And as you get older, that becomes a lot harder. And, he wants to get paid a certain amount. I just don't think that Russell Wilson right now is a starter. My starter better stay healthy. These are the backups that you probably don't want coming in. I've got Mac Jones on there, DTR, Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley, Gardner Minshew, Ritter, Rudolph, and Milroe. For Milroe, I'll put a little asterisk there. The only reason I'm having him on this, my starter better stay healthy list, is because I think he's just too raw. Ideally, we wouldn't see him till 2026, but you never know. Oh, you know what? We forgot to throw Tua up. So Tua, I had him in the 2024 CJ Stroud category. All right, that's it. That's 56 guys. Who did we miss? We have Mount Rushmore. Great, good. 2023 CJ Stroud, 2024 CJ Stroud. Could make us look stupid. Hot or not, you're still here. Good backup, and my starter better stay healthy. We've got a lot of time to overthink this. So what else did we miss?